now on, we will study about an indicative determiner and the definite or indefinite article either as a determiner. The indicative determiner reveals the information that is integrated from each information conveyed by the definite article the and the indefinite article all, either as a determiner. The area of description by the definite article and the indefinite article is different, and the indicative determiner tells us about both. The indefinite article all is applied to reveal whether the number of a random subject or object indicated by a general noun is 1 or not. In a case that the number of the subject or object is plural, the speaker applies the suffix s instead of the indefinite article a. Besides the fact that the number of the subject or object described by the indefinite article all is singular, the speaker also reveals the fact that the subject or object described by the indefinite article all is not specified. So we can say that the speaker indicates a subject or an object that is randomly indicated by the general noun, because the fact that the speaker can count the number of the subject or object with the number 1 means that the speakers in the conversation already accorded to the definition and the unit of the subject or object. The definite article the is applied to reveal the information that the subject or object indicated by the abstract noun, material noun, or general noun is identified by the speaker and the listeners in the conversation. In this conversation, I can say about a TV, and the speaker and the listeners are able to identify that this subject is dealt with in the conversation. The speaker intends to indicate this subject with the general noun TV. Then we can say that the speaker and the listeners identify this subject as the TV. To be stated in a clause. The indicative determiner reveals the information about the number of the subject or object, the fact that the subject or object is identified in the conversation among the speaker and the listeners, and the distance between the speaker and the subject or object indicated by the abstract noun, material noun, or general noun. So we can understand that the indicative determiner reveals whether the number of the subject or object is singular, whether the subject or object participates in the conversation with the speaker or not, and whether the subject or object is close to the speaker or not. There is an example. A program is good. The indefinite article all describes a general noun program, with a description by the indefinite article all as a determiner. the listeners can understand that the speaker indicates a random subject of the entire subject indicated by the general noun program. The number of the definitions of a general noun is limited. So a general noun can indicate multiple subject or object. A speaker who intends to indicate one of the subject or object indicated by the general noun applies the indefinite article a as a determiner to describe the general noun program. There is a second example. The program is my favorite. The definite article the describes the general noun program. The listeners can understand that the subject indicated by the general noun program is identified by the speaker and the listeners in the conversation. The fact that the subject indicated by the general noun program is identified by the speaker and listeners connotes that the former context to deal with the subject indicated by the general noun program exists as a premise. The fact that the speaker applies the definite article the in this statement reveals that there is a prior context to talk about the subject indicated by the general noun program ahead of the second example. From the former context, the speaker and listeners are able to identify the subject indicated by the general noun, so the speaker applies the definite article the to describe the general noun program. The third example is this. This program is good. The indicative determiner this describes the general noun program. With the description by the definite article this as a determiner, the listeners can understand that the number of the subject indicated by the general noun program is singular. The subject indicated by the general noun program is identified by the speaker and the listeners. And the subject indicated by the general noun program is adjacent to the speaker. We can understand that the subject indicated by the general noun program does not participate in the conversation with the speaker and the listeners as well. Thank you for watching.